Chosen one, I see the weight you have been carrying, even the weight you never put into words. There is a tiredness in you that sleep has not healed, a weariness that rest alone could not touch. This is not ordinary fatigue. This is the exhaustion that comes from enduring too much for too long, from holding yourself together while silently breaking inside. And tonight, it is time to name it without shame. You have been strong longer than people realize. You have smiled when your mind was heavy, functioned when your spirit was strained, and kept moving when your heart was begging for pause. The pressure you feel did not come overnight. It accumulated slowly, quietly, through unanswered questions, delayed outcomes, and battles no one else could see. This is not weakness. This is the evidence of survival. Chosen one's mental oppression does not always arrive loudly. Sometimes it whispers. It disguises itself as logic, as realism, as this is just how life is. It repeats thoughts that drain your hope. Nothing will change. You are behind. You missed your moment. You are alone in this. Over time, these thoughts settle in, creating heaviness, confusion, and a sense of being trapped in your own mind. You may have noticed your motivation fading, your focus slipping, or your joy feeling distant. Things that once felt simple now feel heavy. Decisions feel overwhelming. Even silence feels loud. This is not because you are broken. It is because your spirit has been under pressure without enough release. Hear this clearly, chosen one. You are not failing. You are fatigued. And fatigue speaks lies that clarity would never speak. When the mind is tired, it turns against itself. When the spirit is worn, it begins to question its own worth. But tonight, we interrupt that cycle with truth. You have not been abandoned. You have not been forgotten. You have not lost your value because you feel low. What you are experiencing is the signal that something inside you has been fighting quietly and needs acknowledgement, not judgment, needs rest, not criticism, needs compassion, not pressure. There are emotions you swallowed because there was no safe space to release them. Tears you postponed because there was no time. Questions you buried because the answers did not come. All of that has weight, and your soul has been carrying it faithfully, but not endlessly. Chosen ones, let this be the moment you stop pretending that everything is fine when it is not. You do not need to explain yourself here. You do not need to perform strength. This space is not demanding anything from you. It is offering relief. If you feel numb, that is a response to overload. If you feel irritable, that is your nervous system asking for peace. If you feel distant from yourself, that is a sign that you have been giving more than you have received. None of this disqualifies you. It humanizes you. Chosen one, now that the weight has been acknowledged, we move into revelation. Not every voice in your mind is yours. And not every thought you think was born from truth. Some voices entered through wounds, through fear, through long seasons of waiting, and they stayed longer than they were ever meant to. Tonight, we expose them gently but clearly. There is a difference between intuition and intimidation, between guidance and pressure. The false voices do not guide you toward peace. They rush you toward panic. They do not correct you with love. They accuse you with harshness. They do not invite growth. They enforce shame. Learn to recognize the tone. Truth is firm but calm. Falsehood is loud, urgent, and heavy. Negative spirits often disguise themselves as your own reasoning. They say things like, be realistic, when they mean give up. They say, protect yourself, when they mean isolate. They say you have tried enough, when they mean stop believing. These voices sound familiar because they have repeated themselves for a long time. But repetition does not make them true. Chosen ones, fear is one of the most common disguises. It pretends to be wisdom, but it only sees danger. Doubt pretends to be intelligence, but it refuses possibility. Shame pretends to be humility, but it constantly reminds you of your past. Comparison pretends to be motivation, but it steals your peace. These are not companions. They are intruders. You may have noticed how these voices drain your energy instead of strengthening you. After listening to them, you feel smaller, heavier, less hopeful. That is your sign. Anything that consistently diminishes your inner light is not aligned with your true identity. Your authentic voice carries clarity, not confusion. It leads you toward alignment, not paralysis. Chosen one, understand this. Negative spirits do not always attack directly. Sometimes they wait for moments of vulnerability, fatigue, loneliness, disappointment. They whisper when your defenses are low, when you are searching for answers. This does not make you weak. It means you are human. Awareness is not condemnation. It is empowerment. Tonight you are being given discernment, the ability to pause and ask, is this thought leading me toward peace or pulling me into fear? That single question is a key. Truth does not rush you. Truth does not threaten you. Truth does not demand perfection before acceptance. False voices often speak in absolutes, always, never, everyone, no one. Truth speaks in possibility and growth. It allows room for change. It allows room for healing. When a thought leaves no space for hope, it did not come from alignment. Chosen ones, you are not your intrusive thoughts. You are not the narratives formed in survival mode. You are not the echoes of old pain. Those voices were responses to seasons that have passed. They are outdated. They no longer have authority here. Chosen one, now that what was hidden has been revealed, we move into separation. Revelation without release keeps chains visible but intact. Tonight, we do not only see what has been influencing you, we let it go. This is the moment where agreement is withdrawn, where attachment is broken, and where what does not belong is sent away. Take a slow breath. With every inhale, receive strength. With every exhale, release what has been weighing you down. You are not fighting here. You are stepping out. There is power in calm authority, and you carry it. I speak now over every negative influence that attached itself during seasons of vulnerability, fear that lingered longer than its purpose, doubt that grew in the absence of reassurance, shame that settled where compassion should have been. You are no longer welcome. Your assignment ends now. Chosen ones, separation does not mean denial. It means decision. You are deciding that survival patterns no longer get to define your future. You are deciding that thoughts formed in pain will not lead you forward. You are deciding that inner oppression does not get to share space with your peace. See this in your spirit. Chains loosening, cords snapping, doors closing gently but firmly. Not in chaos, not in violence, but with clarity and finality. What once clung to you because you were tired cannot remain now that you are awake. Speak this within yourself. I release what is not aligned with me. Speak it again. I release what is not aligned with me. This is not a request. It is a declaration. And declarations reshape inner landscapes. Chosen one, there are habits of thought that felt familiar because they repeated themselves often. Self-criticism, overthinking, catastrophizing. These are not personality traits. They are learned defenses. Thank them for their attempt to protect you, and then let them go. You no longer need armor in a safe place. I declare separation from every voice that told you to shrink, to delay, to hide. Separation from every inner command that said you were too much or not enough. Separation from mental cycles that kept you trapped in yesterday while today was waiting. Chosen ones, notice how release feels quieter than struggle. You are not tearing anything away. You are simply opening your hands. What leaves was never meant to stay. What stays will feel lighter, clearer, more truthful. If resistance arises, let it pass without engagement. Resistance is often the last echo of what is leaving. You do not need to negotiate with it. You have already chosen. I speak authority over your inner world now. Your mind is not an open field for every passing influence. It is a sacred space. And in this space, only what brings life, clarity, and peace is permitted to remain. Imagine a line being drawn, not in fear but in wisdom. On one side, the patterns that drained you. On the other, the future that awaits you. You step forward. The line remains. What is behind you does not. Chosen one. Now that release has made space, restoration begins. What was emptied will not remain hollow. Peace is not something you must chase. It is something that returns naturally when interference is removed. Allow it to settle in you gently, without effort, without expectation. Breathe and receive calm. Not the fragile calm that depends on circumstances, but the deep peace that anchors you from within. The kind of peace that steadies your thoughts, softens your emotions, and reminds your nervous system that it is safe to rest. This peace does not rush in. It arrives quietly and stays. Chosen ones, your identity is being restored now. Not the version shaped by survival, but the one rooted in truth. You are not defined by how tired you became, how long it took, or how much you endured. You are defined by your essence, perceptive, resilient, intuitive, and deeply aware. These qualities were never lost. They were simply covered. Let clarity return to your mind. Confusion dissolves when peace takes its place. Decisions no longer feel threatening. Thoughts slow down. The inner noise fades, and what remains is a gentle knowing. Trust that knowing. It is your true inner voice resurfacing. I speak restoration over your sense of self-worth. The part of you that questioned its value is being reassured. You do not need to prove your importance. You do not need to earn rest. Your worth is not measured by productivity, perfection, or performance. It exists because you exist. Chosen one, feel your inner light returning, not as a sudden burst, but as a steady glow. It warms what was cold. It illuminates what was unclear. This light is not borrowed. It comes from within you. It has always been there, waiting for space to shine again. There may be moments when old doubts attempt to reappear. When they do, they will feel weaker, less convincing. That is because restoration has shifted your center. You are no longer anchored in fear. You are anchored in truth. Peace also restores perspective. What once felt overwhelming now feels manageable. What once felt permanent now feels temporary. You begin to see your journey not as a series of failures, but as a process of refinement. Nothing was wasted. Even the difficult seasons shaped your discernment. Chosen ones, let compassion flow toward yourself now. Speak to yourself as you would to someone you deeply care for. Harsh inner language has no place in a restored space. Replace it with patience, with understanding, with grace. As identity is restored, purpose becomes clearer. You do not need to know every step ahead. Clarity comes in layers. For now, it is enough to know that you are aligned again, grounded, centered, whole. Allow joy to return in small ways. A moment of ease, a quiet smile, a sense of relief. Joy does not need to be dramatic to be real. These small signs are proof that restoration is active. Chosen one, carry this peace with you. Protect it gently.